the story, Saka, he didn't die out of some attacks on his person. He died out of, as has been suggested, coronavirus. So because I think on the day of the election, he was flown out of the country to seek medical attention, and this is what we're hearing this morning. I think maybe coronavirus has changed its mind. It's now going after the political leaders. President Magufuli of Tanzania is gone, and we don't know who's next. So that if you watch wrestling, right? Yeah. You know Goldberg. When he defeats his opponent, he says, "Who's next?" I'm sure coronavirus is smiling somewhere and saying that, "Well, you thought I was gone. I'm around." But I mean, it's a serious issue. Yes, and I mean, it brings to the fore our attitude. Even for instance, right now, to be fair, I mean, after the jab, people think that coronavirus is gone. People think that's the panacea.
Have you had yours?
Yes, I have. I've had mine. Oh, I've had mine. I've had mine. I think I was amongst the first. I was amongst the first group. Yeah. Who had their jabs? I have had mine. Yeah. I have had mine. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That the erroneous impression is created that once you have your jab or once you take the jab, it's gone. Yeah, that's it. You're protected. But we were learning that some great leaders are falling to the icy hands of coronavirus.
Yes. Kwame, thank you very much. I think tomorrow will be World Tuberculosis Day.
Yeah.
So the awareness is being created. There is going to be, screening all over the place, free screening. So whoever doubts himself. These days, anytime anybody coughs, the tendency is for people to think that it is coronavirus, forgetting that we have something also called tuberculosis. And tuberculosis, we all are aware, I mean, devastated a lot of lives, killed so many people, even more than coronavirus, over the years. So it's still around us and it's curable. So everybody should take advantage and then go to your medical facility near you for free screening. Yeah, Kwame, about the death of the Congo opposition leader, days after polls, I think that is quite unfortunate. Unfortunate in the sense that this is a person that was aspiring to become the president of the land. And never was he even thinking that the next moment he will be out of this world. That calls for all of us to know that, the world is transient. You can have your plans, and then the master planner, who is God, also has his. And you could see that this was a very healthy person. A healthy person who had gone through the rigorous campaigning and had gone through that, but had to, be taken ill by this devastating coronavirus. It's so sad. My condolences to the people of Congo, even though some of them will be laughing, will be happy. Not because the person is dead, but because maybe, in some other jurisdictions, they see politics as life and death.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if coronavirus can take your opponent for you, then, then
why not?
Then why not? But I think Ghana, the opposite is the case.
Yeah.
I remember when Professor Mills died, all of us were devastated. We were criticizing him here and there, and then the very moment he died, we had sober reflection of his life. All of a sudden, we begin to see the good things in him. And, in other jurisdictions, it's not like that. They will just taunt him and then, push him to his grave and then be happy. and this tells us that the people should not joke with this coronavirus. It doesn't, discriminate between the rich and the poor, the rule and then the rulers and then those who are being ruled. Those in government and those in opposition. It doesn't discriminate. And that is the reason why all precautions must always be taken at all times.
Absolutely.
And this disease, even in Ghana here, we are all aware of you know, virulent nature. The extent that prominent people had to go because of this disease. And for me, I think that the people of Congo have lost a potential leader to the icy hands of this coronavirus. And we can only pray that they will take a cue from it and then try to, you know, get the jab, go for it. I mean, this coronavirus also came in its wake. All manner of arguments on social media as to whether or not people should take the jab, the vaccines and all that. I mean, why would anybody even doubt about taking the vaccines? For instance, where I went and took my jab, when I went, the expectorates overshadowed almost everybody. The people that we are saying that they are conspiring, you know, to eliminate us. They were at the forefront trying to eliminate. Yeah, you know, to get these vaccines, you know, for themselves. The Indian community, the Chinese, even the U.S. community, all of them were at hand. I mean, to get this vaccine, you know, done and done with. And then we are here. We are sitting here. These things too were given to us free. You don't pay a penny. And then you have been asked to come and, you know, a vaccine to protect your own life. Well, then you sit somewhere,
pay for it.
You sit somewhere and say that, oh, we let the president go for 1 month for us to see whether he will exhibit certain signs or not. I mean, you don't do that. You don't even use your president as a guinea pig. In this particular case, we are losing lives. So you don't have a choice than to go and take this vaccine. And you see, taking the vaccine in itself doesn't mean that you can then go and do whatever that you want. Especially, some of us who have taken only the first jab. We are waiting till somewhere April to take the second jab. Even after the second jab, you still need to protect yourself. You know, and for instance, we all know that Qatar doesn't kill like that. Yeah. But when somebody has Qatar, don't we try to protect ourselves from Qatar? Yeah. So it is a disease. Whether it will kill you or not, try to protect yourself. And especially as this disease keep on transforming itself. You know, it can transform itself from one variant to the other and from one devastating variant to another. So don't, you know, be comfortable with your jab or your vaccine and say that, okay, everything is okay now that I've taken the vaccine. Even these vaccines, this is the first time that we are all testing it. It might be that even though we have been given the reassurance, you know, platonic reassurance that the efficacy is so high and all that, it is still undergoing trial. I mean, it's not up to 1 year. Anything can happen. I mean, the efficacy can reduce based on certain conditions. So let us not be comfortable with the vaccine. Even after the vaccines, let us still go and protect ourselves and follow all the protocols so that we can save lives and livelihood for ourselves.
Thank you very much, Saka Salia, well, for being the curtain raiser for this conversation.
I understand today is your birthday. If that is the case, then happy birthday to you.
If that's the case. I like that.
Because you have not told me that today is your birthday.
I know. Well,
then today we are going to celebrate.
I hear you. We're still going to be hearing from Hajia Hamdatu and Gabriela Tete here on this subject matter. But let me quickly remind you again that we are streaming live on our Facebook page, which is Pan African Television. And for those of you who want to leave us a comment, you can easily do that. If you also want to send us a text message or a WhatsApp message, you can simply do that on our WhatsApp number, which will be displayed or projected on the screens pretty shortly. Let me now come to you, Gabriela Tete, please.
Let me say good morning to our viewers. A special good morning, as usual, to the people of Outer Senegal. Do you know last week when I made the comment that let me greet the people of Central Region and I'll possibly be going for a regional position. Yeah. Some people heard it and it was clouded in negativity and blown off. I was so surprised. Some of the pettiness is mind-boggling. I wonder, Seth. I hope the person is watching.
I don't get it.
Happy birthday. How old are you today?
I am old enough.
Don't be my father. So how old are you?
I'm old enough.
How old are you?
I'm old enough.
He's not that old.
I know, I'm older than him. So how old are you? Even though, look at the gray hair.
Yeah. Well, I just my mother, so you can imagine.
Happy birthday.
Thank you,
I
Gabriel.
wish you long life,
Thank
prosperity in health,
you. Thank you.
in wealth, in peace,
I like the
in
wealth
joy. Sometimes
Of course.
wealth doesn't come with good health. Oh.
Yeah, no.
Take all of them.
Well, so I like all of them.
Prosperity in blessing.
Yeah.
This is a very sad story. This opposition leader, and they're still counting the votes, so he doesn't know whether he won or not. Even more tragic.
He will be president posthumously.
Assuming that was the case, he'll get to heaven and he'll ask God.
I saw you smiling in your mask.
She's crying for him.
He'll get to heaven and he'll ask God, oh God, you should have suffered. But
Only agents will they still be?
yeah, according to his followers, they still his team will still follow up on them.
So
Granted that
he wins. What happens?
The vice presidential candidate will be the running mate will be sworn in as the president.
and then a new date will be
Perhaps.
Announced for
announced for
a re-election.
A re-election. I think so. If
But-
it's Ghana, that is what would have happened.
Strange this and what. But you see, the guy had underlying health conditions. He was diabetic.
Oh yeah.
You know, and even though when you look at the statistics from the Republic of Congo, not to be confused with the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yesterday I was actually confused.
I also thought,
Yeah.
Not Kabila.
Chisekedi.
yeah.
Nice.
So-
Yeah.
Their COVID cases so far, they've just had about 9,000 cases since the start of the pandemic. And almost everybody has recovered. There's about 1,000 people. But that's for us there. They'll tell you we are testing. And they may not be tested. So, Kwame, it is very sad news indeed. And let me extend condolences to the people of Republic of Congo. And this channel is broadcast all over Africa. So we never know who will be watching.
Yeah.
So let me extend condolences to the people of the Republic of Congo, his party, and especially his family in such difficult times. It tells you exactly what we are dealing with. And the interesting thing is, as we said earlier, we pass it off as a joke, but it's really serious. How COVID has now raised itself and is pursuing a certain category of people because they come into contact a lot with other people. I mean, in politics and politicians, you're always talking to people, you're mingling with people. Sometimes some of the courtesies that you extend out, you know very well that you are risking your own health, but it's politics and it's about people. So, and also at the time when he was in the campaign, probably contracted it during the time he was running the campaigns.
Probably.
And we also saw what similar did to us, but we were just lucky that the fatalities, even though could have gone higher because of how the campaigns were being done, and people were aggregating around personalities, congregating around personalities. It could have been worse. Our numbers spiked up, but our fatalities weren't that high. I don't know what to say in addition. It's just a tragic, sad news, and condolences.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. But what was this issue? I want to know your issue. What is it? What did the person say?
Are you
What
going
did you
to
say?
organizer or
Beyond, no,
I'm
let's
not even allowed to take a position.
But because you are a woman, they just assume.
No,
maybe
because they
women organizer.
said do not take people on face value. And I said I was greeting the people of Central Region because I would grab for
Every day,
position.
greet them.
Ah,
But I was
I'm
greet them.
surprised though.
And I was greet them.
Then go. I'm sure the person just watched.
I'm only emphasizing on the fact
I'm
that
sure-
you
I'm sure-
forget. Every platform, greet them.
I'm sure the person
No,
just watched that day.
just
and
go
then
for the
just-
position.
Even go now, cry. I will support you.
Yes, you should go for it.
Now, cry. I will
Before you
declare.
started, Gabriela, make up your mind.
I will declare my support for you.
Whoa,
Make
go
up
there.
your mind.
Whoa,
We will go and
I
support.
hear. Thank you.
Me, I like competition though. I like competition.
Kwame,
my-
that's why you are the
Central Region helping her.
Pardon?
You're surprised to see me. Because I want people who are capable.
Yeah, it's about capability, not
Not
because.
just anybody.
No, but I'm
Even
surprised.
because you
though.
are sitting here.
But it's propaganda. You should appreciate. You should understand why.
You are one
Oh,
of
no, it was a
the
bit
NDC
petty.
now.
It was a bit petty, you know, because how do you conclude that? Do not take everybody who smiles at you as genuine, because you saw me on TV and I said I'll contest for a position in the central region. Everybody knows that I'm always smiling.
But is the position for the person permanent?
Let's move to the next topic. Aja, please, you take on the topic.
Aja.
Congo opposition leader. I've now taken over.
I can appreciate that you're running away from it. It's okay. It's okay. But
Well,
sometimes it's
I would like to
like the
say-
way you were treated in your own party, CPP.
it does, I don't know. I'm moving forward, you know.
So.
What is
Aja, you don't have to talk about it. We'll talk about it.
That one is past. That one is past.
No, we will revisit it.
They are not.
But let's say.
For me, I think let me take this opportunity to wish you a happy birthday. I associate myself with all the words that Gabriela, the incoming executive of the Central Region,
Regional executive.
on the ticket of the NDC.
Thank you.
You say it.
You say it.
Me there, oh,
If you like that, if you miss me, we'll predict.
people have been throwing things me, I don't really care. I'm constant like a northern star.
We'll predict.
You see, if something is good, appreciate it. If somebody is doing well, congratulate and encourage the person, no matter the political differences. Even though some of us don't get it from other political party women, you understand? But we also get from some of the women. Also, you let me deviate small. When I was contesting vice chairmanship in Central, we did it in June and a half at that time. The then sitting woman organizer of the NDC, she sent somebody to me. Now they take this and buy water for, even if it's 2 cities, they thought, not the country. Yes. So that's how it should be. Me, I've been telling people, if you sit in your base and fight because of our job, Gabriela, and when we finish, you're going to eat kenke, isn't it?
Oh, that's
Oh, you are. So now, I want to say a very good morning to our cherished viewers out there, especially the people of Kumbungu.
I was going to actually.
Because somebody called me that I've stopped saying hello to the Kumbungu people. I had my reservations, but I think we have to move on as a people.
Yeah.
You don't throw the baby away.
Yes, to the with a bathroom, and then you don't say because water is taking your child, you won't drink water again. I think I have to help rebuild the CPP stronghold in Kumbungu, which I've made a commitment I'm going to do. The Congo man. I observed something at the airport when I went to pick my good brother and the wife and kids. They have taken the COVID test. They've been cleared. But we don't know the people who are coming to meet them.
Yep.
They are COVID test. You see, hugging. Maybe you are free, you've come out. You don't even know the people you are hugging, kissing. Oh, I saw kissing and hugging. What is it? Peg. So I said, hey, because I was there for more than 2 hours. This COVID is real. People should be very, very careful. Because if you are not careful, before we realize, may God forbid, we'll be consumed by this virus that we don't know where it's coming from.
Oh, you know, it's
People are talking about
Chinese man.
Gabriela and Kwabi are saying it's kind of taking the lives of maybe prominent people in society, but the majority are the ones that are not announced. Because maybe I'm Ajay Hamdato of the CPP, Gabriela of the NDC, that's why people will know about us.
Absolutely.
But what about the majority who are dying out of COVID? But nobody is announcing it. So I think we should try as much as we can. This conspiracy theory, we must kill it. If we don't do it, because some people are saying they won't take it. Some people have taken the first shot. But why should they take the first shot? After the second shot, they should still be in mask. They won't go for the second shot. If you go for the first shot and you're not going for the second shot, what's the meaning of that? I think we have to have confidence in this vaccine that, as you rightly said, the people who want to kill us, but they are the first to take the key to go and take a shot and kill themselves. So I think we have to be very, very careful. And then, it's most unfortunate, the Congo opposition leader, for me, where I sit, you know, it's in the Quran and the Bible. There is God who gives and God. Now, Saka asked a question, what if he is declared the president? You see, as politicians and as human beings, normal human beings, let me put it that way, you get up in the morning and say, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do that. Planning so many things. As Saka said, the good planner is Almighty Allah. So that's why whatever you are doing, you should put everything in the hands of God. We Muslims, in the morning, that's what we do. I know Christians who they pray the same way. You get up in the morning, they said, you're going out and coming back. May Allah protect you from everything. But this COVID, that is taking the lives of people. People can even get malaria and die. People have AIDS, people have cancer. They've lived so long. But this is just a wind. Pop, then you are gone. So I think the prevention, observing the protocols. In Congo, I don't know their COVID history, whether maybe they'll be able to test people like the way we are testing people to see the number. Because I'm imagining the whole of Congo only had 9,000 and most of them have recovered and so. And then especially with the people who have the underlying conditions. Diabetic, hypertension, and so on and so forth. They are even scared to go. They are even scared to go. So that's why some of us, when we took the shot, we put it in public. Because we know those injecting us are also taking the injection. Yeah. So if they take an injection to kill themselves and kill other people, I don't think so. So, but as Africans, we have to look for an African solution. We shouldn't just wait every day. We will be sitting down, make proper research to understand our own problems, to solve our own problems. Now, may God forbid, the European, are saying they're going to block vaccines from going to UK or something. They are going to do that. Yeah. So what if they say they're not going to give us the second dose? What are we going to do? Have we started thinking of any substitute? I don't know whether we are doing it. So I think it is a wake-up call for us to also try to look for an African solution. Proper research. We have so many researchers doing very well abroad. Why can't our governments of Africa get some like-minded people, about 20 researchers, to come to one place in the continent and do proper research on how to also maybe develop something that will be good for our, maybe our system and their system is different. What will sort of help us rather than just depending on the West to give. And now they are fighting among themselves that they are not going to give this person, they are not going to give this group of people, and so that developing countries or developed countries. I was just today, I was a bit confused because if you say developing countries, if you're not careful, we're also part of it.
No, absolutely. You
understand? Because they didn't say developed countries.
Developing
countries. So if we've taken the first shot, and next month I've forgotten my card is with me. I'm going for the second shot. And then you see, so I think as Africans, and then please, that local things, we should be doing it too. The hot water, everything. Maybe it can, the neem tree, even if it cannot get rid of it, it can sort of be like a first aid to whosoever is. And so my deepest condolences goes to the good people of Congo, especially the opposition, and we are praying and hoping. Something goes with it. He has kept long on that seat too.
36.
I can't believe that he has
37 years.
I can't believe that 36.
Yeah, 36 years. On the throne.
So why?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Haja was talking, something just struck my mind. A man who has been in power for that long, and then the healthcare system is still not good enough that the person suffering from COVID complications has been flown all the way to France. Not even a neighboring country for proper healthcare. Colonial mentality. And that's why he's still president. Because he caters to certain powers that control, especially the Francophone countries.
Yeah, I think yesterday we saw to myself and Mr. Eneku and Delali and Mujib, you know, we try to look at the issue from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And it's precisely what we are talking about this morning, you know, that the over-dependency mentality of African leaders is what has brought us to this point where we cannot even think and create, like you said, create our own vaccines. As it stands, you can't even travel anywhere to get seek medical attention unless maybe South Africa. Even then, they are still struggling.
And they are still struggling with
absolutely. So, I don't know. Sometimes just
leadership.
Yeah,
the right leadership.
Yeah. Let me, this is it, by the way. We went to Mecca some time back, and then one guy fell sick. He collapsed before he realized he was in the hospital. So I was not there. People were cracking jokes, and I heard it. The way the hospital is, the nurses, both male and female. Then when he woke up, he thought maybe he died, so he was in heaven. But hey, so this is how heaven is. And I was wasting my time in listen. He didn't know that he was still inside the hospital because of the equipment, the way, the environment alone can even let you.
He can heal you.
Heal you.
Yeah.
Early. So I think we should also do that. About how many years? How many years?
Right, so, well, we're still here. Let's come back to Ghana. There are several other issues that we must touch on. Let's go to Achimota School and find out what is happening there. I'm sure pretty much, if you're not aware, let me remind you, 2 Rastafarian young men have been denied the opportunity to study at Ghana's premier senior high school, Achimota School. And it is primarily because they are wearing dreadlocks. They are wearing dreadlocks. People have waded in the conversation. I am particularly, I'm a mixed bag of feelings about this whole situation. I don't want to put my issue out, because yesterday when I put my issue out, people were not happy with me. But I'll leave it to the panelists to have a conversation about it. And I want to just, with the grace of respect, request that you look at the issues from different perspectives. Religion is important, but also rules and regulations are also very important. So we need to balance the equation and find a middle ground. Hadia, let me start with you.
Yes, I think Kwame.
Yes, my boss.
Even when I was coming, I was watching you when I was standing here. And the Achimota issue. I remember when we were in secondary school, from Form 1 to 3, you're not supposed to grow your hair. You have to wear a short hair. We all obeyed those rules and regulations. And in Big Boss, at that time, every Sunday you have to be in white, or you're not going to church. Muslims, so Christians, so anarchists, free thinkers, if you come to Big Boss, you think that is some job to school. What they do is that they wait. When they get to the class, they remove it. And then when they are coming home, so if you want to even see them, go to Accra High. On that road, you see them going with hijab. And then when they enter the school, because they said that is the school regulations. One of the view, you see, it's a thin line. It's a very, very delicate situation. What am I saying? I think, still go back to Big Boss. When I entered Form 1, I had seniors who were Catholics. They were wearing this, and they were allowed. I've never seen the time they bath or dress. Every day when I wake up, they are only dressed. But Kwame, if we are going to say, okay, fine, this person is a Rastafarian, is a religion, well, on my platform, All Students Association, you will laugh. Some people wore the skin with a big talisman. I said that is their religion. So they should also be allowed to enter the class like that. Different perspectives about how people view what happened in Achimota. And you know Achimota? They think they are the best school in the whole country. Why? Because most of our great leaders attended that school. It's most unfortunate. I even read where the Rastafarians themselves started Jamaica. A child was refused to attend class because she has a long hair. Now the case is pending in court. So they asked the child to be attending the school until the final determination of the case. And Kwame, do you know the final determination? They said the school has rules and regulations and the child must follow. But the determination came during this COVID. It is now that they are going back to school.
Implement it.
So the parents are now thinking, what are they going to do? And the community are saying they are going to appeal to that. The Achimota issue. I learned the GES gave a directive that they should be admitted. That is where I have a little problem. Do not ask me why, then I'll continue.
Why?
If somebody in Bichaltanga or my town, Zarzugu, Kumbungu, you know that's where the bees are. And then the chief palace, one son will say that is the only way, carrying the bees every day to the class is his belief. You know the kind of chaos. So we should look at it holistically. You understand? To see whether the schools, some schools, in Kumasi, have admitted somebody there.
Yeah.
So I think they should also look at schools that will accept them. So that there will not be any, because Achimota, they are not ready to value. Because they have refused. And then the guy had 6. So, if not because it's the computer placement, formally when you have to look at the form yourself and choose the people you want. Maybe if Achimota school has seen the picture of the Rastafarian guy, maybe they wouldn't have picked him. But the computer has placed him there. So what do we do? Are we going to say, oh, okay, since this is our rules and regulations, we are not going to accept you? In fact, for the past 3 days, I've been trying to analyze the thing and come to a conclusion whereby everybody will be seen as satisfied. But I still can't get it. Because even the GAs are saying, put the children in school. Achimota is saying, no, go to social media and see. People are saying, yes, we support Achimota. GAs cannot maybe order Achimota to accept because it's a public school. Some people are saying it's a public school, it's not a private school. But, Kwame, we don't know the situation of the whole case as we are sitting, whether today they've accepted them or not. But as of yesterday, what I heard was that Achimota are adamant to take the children in the class. You know, when I was growing up, we have a different perspective. I don't know where I grew up. I don't know here, but I didn't grow up in Accra. We have a different perception about Rastafarian, whether we like it or not. Like, oh, these people there, you can't go close to them. They are this, they are that. So it has gotten into people's mind, like Rastafarians have a different way of doing things. It is their right. And it's enshrined in our constitution. So where do we go from here? I think the conversation will continue and continue until we find a middle ground. Are we going to say, okay, fine, since Rastafarians are being discriminated, they should also get their school to attend, or what? Because that boy, when I saw him, in fact, I felt the way he was standing, which is I don't know whether it's a mop or a broom. It's an innocent child. He didn't ask his father to be a Rastafarian and give birth to him a Rastafarian. Very brilliant child. But they are saying they will not take him. If I'm the parents of that child, believe you me, I won't force it. Because now if I force and put the boy there, do I know what is going to happen? So why don't I take him to where he'll be accepted? Like the Okes. You see, there was a boy who came out to thank the people of Osechiche Secondary School in Kumasi, who accepted. So go to where...
You know, and in all of these struggles, you recall at one point that I think Martin Luther King said that men must be judged by the content of their character, and not the color of their skin.
The color of their skin, yes, it's true.
People must be judged on the basis of their intelligence, not on the basis of how they look. Because oftentimes most rich people or most intelligent people, they don't even look the way, dress the way they are.
Connie, my problem now
Point is this, Aja. We are in 2021.
Sure.
Whether you like it or not, communities are advancing. People are moving away from the rigid colonial mentality. Ask yourself, what gave birth to that principle of cutting of hairs? It was a slavery mentality. Let's face it. Slavery mentality. So if we say that we are independent, if we say that we are a free country, a secular state, where people must be given equal opportunities, irrespective of your background, irrespective of your social class, irrespective of your religious beliefs, why are we preventing people from gaining education on the basis of a convention which is not legal?
Let me tell you.
Conventions are rules and regulations.
Let me tell you one
But
thing.
conventions, rules are made.
Even just
Rules are made for people, and rules change.
I was telling you about just the hijab. Well, I was saying, I told you, we have to cut our hair. We started plaiting our hair in Form 4, then Form 5, we are exiting. My girl is in a secondary school. When she went to classroom, because she has grown the hair, she came, Mommy, my head teacher said, if we don't cut, she will bring Baba to the school to cut. And I said, okay, fine. Since that is what, and I was surprised because of the school. I don't want to mention it because of what is attached to the
As I mentioned the school, we are still learning. We are all learning.
It's supposed to be an Islamic school, let me put it that way. So I was surprised that they don't even encourage their children to plait their hair, grow their hair, because as for us, where I'm coming from, Saka is here, if I'm wrong. Women, you don't have to cut your hair. You don't have to cut your hair. But that is what they said. She came home crying. I said, no problem. It's just 3 years. 3 years, you grow your hair. Because if that is the rules.
But my issue is about accepting a certain rule,
because
which is not finding proper expression in our current state of affairs. Yes, it's so backward, it's unbelievable. It's so backward, it's unbelievable. And we are sitting down and encouraging these schools to do these things on the basis of rules and regulations. The rules are that when you come, make sure you keep your hair clean, make sure you keep your nails clean.
Make sure that you don't television stations.
Yeah.
If you don't wear long hair, so they don't even want you on your...
But it's wrong.
You see?
It's wrong.
That is it. That's why me, Pan Africa, every day, because from America, I'm sitting on this seat in spirit. Because I've been... They discriminate. There are some TV stations, they don't employ people who use hijab.
They should come to Pan Africa, they will see plenty.
You understand? They don't. They don't do it. I remember, I don't want to mention a TV station. If I go, Aja, we want to do your headgear like, and I said, that is how I dress. If you don't want me the next time, don't invite me. And I start going. You understand? And I start going because you cannot change the way, one, I can't leave my hair. Like the way that's Gabriela's view. She can leave it, but I cannot do it. Never. I cannot.
You know,
somebody will even take a phone and be calling, wait, please, it's Haja, okay, please, let's go and look for Haja. You understand? But this is where I think we have to look at our rules and regulations, our laws. Because if the law doesn't permit anybody to say no, you cannot be here because you are not like this, they will look at it.
At least there are two fundamental things that the law
I'm happy. The Rastafarian Association, they are going to court.
Adia, there are two things, as far as I know, that is guaranteed by the Constitution. Right to education, freedom of association.
Yes,
so these two principles cannot be slaughtered on the altar of convenience for anybody.
But let me ask you, let me, I want some, do we know the way Achimota operates? I'm just throwing a question. Have we found out whether maybe they've admitted a Rastafarian in that, because somebody is saying they have done it before. So I think we have to look at it very well. Is it because of where the boy is coming from? And they've accepted a Rastafarian, maybe if he's not a Ghanaian, but because of where he's coming from, his background. You understand my point? Then we have to look at all that. Because me, I've taken interest in this Achimota thing. I'm asking questions. And I have cousins or nephews and nieces who have attended Achimota. I'm getting in touch with them to find out from them. The time you were in school, was anybody admitted there? Because some people are also of the view that because of the boy's background, that's why they are refusing him, because they have maybe Nepapa or Nubia. You understand? But must we treat people like that? If really they have accepted somebody like that before, then they have no basis. If it's their rules from Adam, rules can be changed to accommodate different shapes of people. Because now, that's what I'm saying, if I'm the parent, take it from me, I won't pursue the Achimota thing for you.
Yeah, but Ajay, well, you see, and I think that is the reason why some of these things have been entrenched. Is because people don't pursue them.
Listen, because maybe even at the end of the day, if this child is admitted there, the child will not feel comfortable.
Let the right thing be done.
Will feel comfortable.
Ajay, in my respectful opinion, I think that the right thing must be done.
The right thing must be done.
Exactly.
But I'm saying, if I am that to sitting here, because it's even a distance on my face for you to say that you are not going to admit my child, then I have to go and fight and fight. I can decide not to put my child there, but I'll fight that injustice.
But that thing must change. We need to make sure we change it.
You know,
and this morning, look,
you crowd, they didn't want you in this school. Look at it. You see, that kind of, students too are like that. They make fun of people, and the child will not be comfortable. The parent child will be timid. They will not be able to.
But this morning, I was listening to the father of the boy. And Ras Oswald is like it's a family,
I know him.
Yeah, he's a family to Pan African Television.
Yeah, I know him.
And when I was listening to him, he, and how this, I don't know how some of these people think. They are very condescending. They stereotype people. They look down on people.
When he went.
Yeah, but that's discrimination. That's complete discrimination.
I'm not talking about of you.
And maybe Gabriela disagrees with me because of the way she's looking at me. But I mean, yesterday I heard a different opinion, and my opinion finds some explanation in what you stated earlier on about the fact that it wasn't the boy's decision to wear dreadlocks.
Yeah.
So I tried to premise my analysis on that, right? But upon sober reflection and thinking about this whole system, this whole rigidity created on the basis of colonial mentality.
Why don't we do something that will benefit us as Africans?
Because Africans are used to wearing dreadlocks. If you even go back into history.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So on what basis are we saying that we was? And Gabriela, I'm coming to you. Yes, you have your turn. You have your turn.
Are you an old Achimota?
Honest. I really don't understand why we're making so much hullabaloo about this issue. First of all, Achimota School is a grade A school. Achimota was built, I think, by Gorgesberg, who is English. They are mostly Anglicans. So it's built on a Christian foundation. Christianity comes with a certain set of principles, although it also says that we love all equally and there should be no discrimination. The standards of Achimota has raised presidents, not just for Ghana. Nkrumah was there, has been associated with Achimota. What's his name? Buzia was a teacher there. Alaji, Gambia's president, what's his name? Jawara was raised in Achimota. Mugabe has experienced Achimota. The university we call University of Legon is a baby of Achimota College, which is now this Achimota school. KMUST.
No, it's not true.
KMUST has its origins from Achimota.
Do analysis, but not mention my school. You just do analysis.
KMUST Achimota is very old though.
Limited to Legon.
In fact, Achimota is almost 100 years.
Limited to Legon.
But
don't come to KN. You can use UCC.
It's history. No, UCC is Kwame Nkrumah. That one is purely Kwame Nkrumah. But this was Gordonsburg/Nkrumah. We are coming back to history. And Kwame, this school has built certain principles and standards over the years. That is Achimota.
Yeah.
Now this young man, obviously very intelligent. I've heard him speak. There are two of them. In fact, I think there are like 4 Rastafarians whose issues are in the public domain right now. One also happens to be a fetish priest son. So he's being groomed to be a fetish priest. Now, all these young men, especially this one who's this Achimota school one, is a very intelligent boy. Per what I'm reading about him, it's obvious that he's an exceptional young kid.
Yeah, distinction.
Yes, he's an exceptional young kid. The standard is, if you choose Achimota, you should know what it is that you are signing up for. Look, I went to Wesley Girls. We that mixed people. Our parents, because our hair is soft, and our parents are mostly the women who are white, they like to grow our hair into ponytails. When you go to Wesley Girls, it's a Methodist school. They won't tell you because you are mix. You'll be allowed to keep long hair. First thing they will do, cut before you enter on the opening day. So if you have issues with hair, you go and cry your heart out, but you still have to cut it because that's where you want to go. Same principle applies to Achimota School. Getting an education is not just about going to learn ABCD, 1, 2, 3, philosophy, and this and that. You are seeking, you're also learning to imbibe to rules and regulations and to standards. And where do you learn this enforcement of these rules from? It's the school system. It's the educational system. So are we saying that the educational system should bend over backwards because we have some few Rastafarians? Rastafarianism, like every spiritual religion, is first of all in the heart before it even comes to your mind. What is Rastafarianism? Their teaching is like worship of Mother Earth. Connect to your ancestors. There's a supreme being. If you cut your hair, it doesn't change the belief in you. There are Rastas who have short hair. There are Rastas who are Sakoya, but they are Rastafarians. Some wear locks because they believe that it is a connection like antennas to a supreme being and your connection to the essence of life. You still are allowed to keep hair when you go to secondary school. They don't let you shave everything off. From what I hear, Achimota says they will allow him in on condition that he cuts his hair. And that same rule applies to all other students who go in there. When I first went to secondary school, my parents always had me, my father was expecting a boy, and I came out a girl. So for the most part of my life, I was wearing shorts and jeans, and I had afro hair. When I went to school, they gave me mushroom cut. That was the first time I heard there was a haircut called mushroom cut. This part is plenty, 7 up, and the hair is all down. But they said that was what will frame my face. When you go, he who calls the tune pays the piper, right? So we went to dance to the tune of Achimota College. you must be willing to pay the price to enter Achimota College. And it's just 3 years. Your religion will not leave you. You will not dissociate yourself from your religion just because you are going to get education for 3 years. 3 years will come just like that. Who that ever before has passed 5 years already? But we are here. So 3 years, it will pass just like that. Your religion will always be in there.
We are supporting this unnecessary rigid system.
It is the conversation that we are doing.
But that is why your country is not growing.
No. This has nothing to do with my country not growing.
But that is what it is.
It has nothing to do with my country not growing.
That still wants to operate
there are schools
on the basis of primitive rules and regulations.
There are schools that allow for people to do.
Well, Achimota, is it a private school?
There are schools that allow.
Is it a private school?
There are
Rastafarians also pay taxes, which is used to pay the
doesn't matter. All the people whose children are made to cut their hairs are also paying taxes.
But it's not right. If it was an acceptable practice,
you don't do this. You are keeping a certain standard. I told you, a certain standard.
Listen.
But the school has a uniform. The school has a uniform.
Yes.
The school has a uniform.
That's not the
if the person wears the talisman or whatever and wears a uniform on top of it, who cares? Why should that be your problem?
If it depends on the school. You see, every school, I started with the conversation that every school has its own rules and regulations and where they are coming from. You can't, the Methodist schools will not accept anybody who has any connections to fetish.
It is wrong.
It is what the school has done.
It is wrong.
The Methodist Church has made their school.
That is wrong.
We want to bless people who do fetishes can go and do school for the fetish.
It is wrong. Because the Methodist school, if it becomes a public school, right, and they are being paid or the school is being taken care of with the taxpayers' money, they shouldn't have that right to determine who comes into the school.
If a Hajjah was coming to Wesley Girls, she would drop her hijab. Fridays, we don't have Friday worship for Muslims. Sundays, you come and sing Methodist hymns. You knew that this is what is practiced there, and you signed up to come there. You want to go and be reading Quran, you go to an Islamic school. Christian, you go to an Islamic school, you go and learn how to read Quran and how to pray 5 times a day.
Oh, but they don't force them to do that.
It's your choice. But
in
for us,
school, they don't force a Christian to pray.
You know, from all of this is that you're telling me, I linked it to the development of this nation because you're also telling me that you were born into NDC and you were born into MPP. So you support your party to a fault. No, that's what you're telling me. That's what because people who have UP background will never under any circumstance fall for anything that emanates from the NDC. Never.
That is them.
And that is why we are where we are, because there's no consensus for development. The point I'm making is that would you ever at the point in time decide that no, okay, now I think that, you know, for the benefit of the development of this nation, I'm lowering my guard.
Keeping your hair, cutting your hair will not stop the development of this country.
I'm saying that
he wants an Achimota education. Achimota education is coming at a price.
You are saying that.
And the only price is cut your hair.
But cutting your hair
does not make you stop being Rastafarian.
Yeah, but also, the point I'm making is that the cutting of your hair is predicated on something.
Has not
and that thing is backward. That's the point I'm making to you.
No, it is not backward.
And then at some point, if society evolves, why is it that our chiefs no longer behead people?
So far, when
hold on, I'm asking you a question.
There are 10
I'm asking you a question.
There are 10 million school kids in this country. And so far, we're having to deal with only 5 Rastafarians.
Only 5
Rastafarians.
Even if it is one person.
And even the 5 Rastafarians, one is not even a Rastafarian. He's a fetish.
What's your country? Your country is a secular state.
It doesn't matter.
It does. It should matter. It should matter. You people are sitting. You are even discriminating. You don't want to be accepted.
It's either you want Achimota education. You are behaving like because you know the person personally. I know the person, so I'm not objective about this.
No.
It's either you cut your hair, which will not change your religion, but it conforms to the standards of the school. Or you go to these international schools where they allow the girls to have long hair, even though they tell you either do cornrow, Rasta. In fact, it's just those two hairstyles or ponytail.
They are misbehaving. You won't tell them they are
That's
misbehaving.
all.
Anyway, let me come to Saka. Saka, hey, already. Saka.
Yeah. I think this thing is a script for it.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know why we are just making a whole lot of noise.
But then my glasses suit him.
Yeah.
I was going to say he's more than you. But the fit you wow. Saka, so why are you using that old glasses? Anyway,
Those are for Gabriela, so thank you for
so you're borrowing it, eh?
No, she has given it to me free.
No. You were struggling to read.
Yeah, I don't know why we are struggling to make sense of this whole thing. Because look, laws are made for human beings. Human beings are not made for laws. When laws and time and events make the laws absolute, it is a law that will alter another human being or the idea of giving somebody education. I believe that there is no law that should be sacrosanct or that should not have a little bit of exception. I believe that, in our public schools, there should be discipline.
Of course.
We should have conformity, we should have uniformity of doing things.
Absolutely.
But you see, there must be exception. For instance, if you go to Achimota school and you are an Indian, and you bring your ward, and then the ward had plenty of hair all over hair. I don't think that you want to cut those hair, even though the indigenous Ghanaian students, they are not supposed to have hair. So certain times, even if you cut it, maybe tomorrow it will grow again. You don't continue cutting and dismembering the look of the person. So even though the school has its own regulations, its own disciplinary processes, there should be exceptions. But if we say, let's, doggedly hold on to the principle of nobody should have, hair, you end up having social dislocation. In this particular case, I think that these young boys have grown or I think they are all in all their lives. What they know is hair. Yeah, Rasta. But I agree seriously with what Kwame says, that is backwardness. But that is tradition. You can decide to change it or not, because we all know that it is slave mentality. It's as a result of they think that they were in captivity,
Yeah.
and was saved.
Yeah.
And if you go to Jamaica and other Caribbean areas, they eulogize this Rastafarianism.
They love them.
Not because of anything, but they believe it gives
Pure. That's the perception.
It gives they say consciousness.
Consciousness.
You see, they say consciousness to Jah and all those things. So it's more or less, even that movement itself is not even a religion, so to speak. It's a social movement, imbibe in its spirituality. you get a point. There are certain things that you do and it becomes spirituality within you, not necessarily a religion. And these boys have been brought up in that manner. They've been brought up having dreadlock. Their parents have dreadlock, and then they are not ready. We all know that change is always difficult, especially when you yourself have not planned for it. You cannot just move to a particular setting, a particular place at a particular time, and then all of a sudden they say that remove all these things. It can psychologically, have problem within them. But this at the same time, I think that we should have handled this thing better. The school and then the parents of these children, we could have handled it better, because look, it's just a matter of asking them questions. Who are they? Since when were they born? You ask them questions. You take them through, with the parents, what you know about them, and whether or not they are capable of keeping it in the school neat without any problem. If they say yes, I'm sure that they could have just allowed them as part of the exception to the rule. But that doesn't mean that because they have been allowed, anybody can now begin to, try to consciously become a Rastafarian within the school. Because you are not. If you are not a Rastafarian, we know you. So don't come and pretend to be a Rastafarian. You know.
Few holidays and back, and the person is a Rastafarian.
Their hair will be cut. If you go on holiday and you come with the Rastafarian, you know your mother is a choco. You know your mother. Your mother is selling kenke, so we know you are not a Rastafarian. So I mean, it's not everybody. You see, we know them.
Your mother is a chocolate.
Yeah, we know your mother. So don't come and say that you are a Rastafarian. That's the reason why the history of the parents and what they do, the history of the children themselves, whether or not they can cope with the school environment, still having dreadlock, and even you could even have suggested to them whether they can even cover it using the the Rastafarian. They have some I don't know that cap where they wear and then hold all of them.
The mother even I listened to the mother. The mother even said that they had a conversation with the headmistress, right? Trying to reach some agreement, and then they suggested that do they want them to tie it a certain way? Maybe a certain way so that it doesn't look clumsy and things like that. The red mother doesn't want to have anything to do with that. They don't even want to talk about
that rigid. That rigid mentality. You see, that rigid mentality on the part of certain people, I think that is not good enough. And I am saying that people should be liberal in the way they look at things. I mean,
Jah Race has brought us out.
Yeah, I know Jah Race will come.
So hold on. I'll let you bring it. Hold on.
So I mean, for me, I don't even think that we should have this problem. It is not a matter of human rights. If you look at,
let's go and find out from Acha. Do they have the Indians with the turbans there?
I'm sure they will have.
Yeah, so they will see.
Yeah, I'm sure they will have, unless no Indian is there. If you admit an Indian, definitely, she won't come with the hair like our local girls. You understand? Yeah. And you wouldn't want to force them to look like your local girls. Yeah. So, I mean, that is the reason why the school is a public school. It's not a private school. Yeah. Even if it's a private school,
concessions are made.
Yeah, you can make concessions. So I'm not happy. I was happy that GES came in, but I also heard once again that GES has revised their earlier directive.
No. Well, so as of this morning, what I do know, unless maybe there's anything to the contrary, but what I do know is that the school is still insisting that despite the directive from GES, they are not going to admit the students. That's what I do.
Yeah. So it's GES that is giving them the opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
Because they don't want their powers to be, undermined and all that. So they want them to feel like they are in charge. The school to feel like they are in charge. What problem about that? But I'm sure at the end of the day, I mean, there will be a settlement. But the most important thing is that it is not everything that we should be making noise about. That is cast in stone. Sometimes, I mean, even look at even some of our laws. There are certain exceptions that are made for certain unforeseen situations. And if you think that, for the sake of discipline, for the sake of cleanliness and all those things, I mean, like for instance, Ajia case, where if Ajia is to go to a certain school and then you say that, because she's not wearing, because she's wearing hijab, you are not going to admit her. I mean, you are curtailing her certain rights, So I just think that we should be reasoning like human beings. We should be reasoning like
because even
intellectuals.
In the British Army now they have Rastafarians as military people and things like
that.
I'm surprised that now the world is changing.
The world, you see,
people have piercings and
my
institution is more disciplined than
you see, I might be a little bit even consecutive in certain areas.
Yeah.
See, when people say the world is changing, then the LGBT people say, the world is actually changing. And people are so stuck to gender of male and female. You get the point. So sometimes there should be a delicate balance as to how the world is changing. The world is changing for the good. Not the bad.
Not for the bad. I hear you. All right. Our breakfast is here. Ivy, can you help us, please, with it? Thank you very much. Well, so you're still watching the News Review segment, and we always do this. So for those of you who are first timers, don't worry at all. This is from Jar Rings. Ajia, yours is here. Ooh, smells nice. You know, strangely, he only brings it on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
It's no strange.
Tuesdays.
It's no strange. I mean, Tuesdays especially.
Tuesdays because the guy likes.
Like oh no, please. It's not like it appears.
It's true, eh? So Jerry,
and he likes me and Hajia too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean this is just but yes.
But Kwame, why would you? Jerry is married.
Jerry is married. Is it because you are interested? So
no. Who is interested? You're making noise like that.
Thank you very, very much. All right, let's proceed. So yeah, Jarvis is refreshing us this morning. Their number is 054-669-5087, 054-669-5087, or 020-416-2645. Jarvis, yes. Call them I'll contact them for your breakfast every morning. Let's. You want to say something again? No? Yes?
No.
We're good. Let's proceed and look at JB Dankwa. Hajia.
No, let's start.
No, I want to start with Gabriela. Gabriela, I'm starting with you. Nimo information says JB Dankwa said, "Don't be himself name the name Ghana."
You see the one who named that.
Ghana like Netherlands and Greenland and
absolutely
all the land.
Yeah.
I don't know if the history has it that JB Dankwa named as Ghana.
You don't know?
Sure. Well, the lot of the history of the Achim people that I don't know. I only got to know a lot since we got an Achim president. So according to this article, as I said, this is I'm quite new to this theory. According to Dr. Nimoy Thompson, my very good friend, I greet him wherever he is. The name initially that the Achims, aka Dankwa, JB Dankwa proposed in the Achim Ebwakwa handbook, they first wanted to call Ghana Akan land. And this was in 1928. And then later on, he changed it and coined it as Ghana land. But prior to him,
Akan.
Yes, went to Akangan. Yes, before he went to Ghana land. But prior to his proposition, one J.B. Anaman had already drawn connections between the Gold Coast and the old Ghana Empire. And if you follow anthropology and history, you do know that we do have some links to the old Ghana Empire. Through migration over time, people moved to this part of the continent. So Kwame Nkrumah decided that Ghana land was too complicated and too long, and since there's a history and a good story behind the name Ghana, that Ghana becomes the official name of the Gold Coast. And of course, Kwame Nkrumah then was the prime minister, so he had all the power to make that change. And not J.B. Dankwa, who was a failed presidential aspirant. So that's the history. But as I said, if you follow anthropology, it's true that we do have links to the old Ghana Empire. If you know the story about the Fantis, where we migrated from, even the Guans, even though we are considered the aborigines of this country, we also do have links to the old Ghana Empire. And the old Ghana Empire was a thriving civilization because, yes. Where she's coming from? I'm gone. Because that center at the time was a trading hub in West Africa. In fact, it was one of the strongest trading hubs in commerce on the continent, next to Egypt and Morocco and Libya. So that history is already known and shared. But there's this perception that since the NPP came to power, there are attempts to rewrite history. Last week we were talking about making references to kids' books which were false.
But Nganza.
They didn't cancel
And then golden history.
Yes.
Highly disappointed in that.
And I think that with time we've become very modernized. Information is readily available. We can all do basic research and know the truth for ourselves. So that when people are giving out stories about how things became what they are, they should credit all of us with some intelligence that we can also find out what really is the truth.
Right.
And secondly, this is by the way, anyway, I didn't know that JB Dankwa, he was only a one-time MP.
Yes,
and,
he was.
And subsequently, that was all that there was to his political career till I read this article.
Oh, 54.
But the UP
was defeated by a
traditionalists
teacher.
and the NPP people,
He was defeated by a teacher in his town.
yeah.
A teacher who was his cousin.
But the NPP, when you listen to the NPP and the way they go, the JB Dankwa tradition and this tradition, you think that there are some heavyweights, you know. Come on, this is the very simple thing to do.
Aja, let's hear from you, please.
Yeah, you know, that's my good friend, Dr. Nimoy Thompson, who happens to be a member of our party, who really went deep into the history of this country to set the record straight. And my sister here has made reference to exactly what Nimoy Thompson said, and also what we have read. You know, I want Ghanaians to know something. Kwame.
Yes, please.
Times are hard, let me put it that way. So at times, if we follow certain patterns, we forget to hold the government accountable. You understand my point?
Yeah.
The budget was read the day last weekend. And then, all of a sudden, the Bedouin consultant came and took over.
Somebody called me and was just making this.
And now we're going to bring history, Ghana, this thing, so that we forget about the whole thing. We have to be smart. We have to be smart. Because as for the history of this country,
It can never change.
it can never change. It can never.
But the budget of this country can change.
It can change.
Aja, you're smart.
It will change life.
Oh dear.
You understand my point?
Yeah.
I'm happy with what my good friend Nimoy Thompson wrote, and which had prominence on the front page of the Insight.
Yes.
And if people know, Vivia's daughter is fighting the MPP,
Yeah.
saying her father should have rather been projected because he should be compared to Nkrumah because he has been a prime minister before. But J.B. Dankwa was beaten by Nkrumah. You understand? Even the MP, one-time MP. So must we waste our time and be talking J.B. Dankwa when we know where I'm sitting? The Convention People's Party, and for that matter, Dr. Nkrumah. Okay, let me ask this question. Let's assume without admitting, J.B. Dankwa named Ghana when he didn't even have the authority to name, and Kwame Nkrumah said I've rejected it. What would have happened?
That's true.
So, in this case, there was a land. As if from Bono to Upper East, Upper West, they are not Ghanaians. So it should be, that was the thinking of Dr. J.B. Dankwa at that time. To name Ghana Akan. So that the Farafara, Bisanga, Dagomba, all of us were what land?
Yes.
You understand? And when it was ridiculed, he said no, Akan Ghana, because maybe they are operating from Greater Accra. It was also ridiculed. They said Ghana land. It took the intelligence and smartness of Dr. Nkrumah to link Ghana's history to the Songhai Empire, Ghana Empire, Mali Empire, to agree to bring the name Ghana. That's why when we were children, they were saying Ghana, is in Ghana
Ghana is appointed in Nkrumah
already. You have finished?
We should say that we were.
Yes, so if it's something at all.
Appointed in Nkrumah already.
I like the fact that we always remind the younger generation on the history of this country. But we shouldn't allow the NPP government to slip through this budget without us asking questions about the nuisance tax they promised, and now it's a neck-jacket tax. You understand? We are not second vote to deviate. So that they say, then, and then my good friend Uncle Pratt, you didn't know this week we should have maintained the heat on the budget. The Bola, this thing, the what and what, it should be explained to COVID tax. I didn't ask for free electricity or what, free water. Now, I'm paying it, they're giving it to me with the right, they're taking it with the left. You understand my point? This is a question that are bothering Ghanaians. As for the history of Ghana, nobody can change
that. Okay.
If you change it within Ghana, no, maybe I cry, because as for Golgabi, you know, who is founder of Ghana, Nkrumah. Who named Ghana? Nkrumah.
The first president of Ghana.
Even if you are playing football, and Abedi Pele is the best on the field, and he was able to score, Antonio Ball scored, and Ghana took the cup. It's Antonio Ball who scored. Nobody is saying that they don't call the other people did not partake in the struggle. No. But when we wanted it now, what they're saying is slowly, you know, we are still playing tennis, we are still drinking tea, like pam, so let's take it cool. And Nkrumah said, no. Independent now.
Yeah.
So if you're going to say that J.B. Dankwa suggested the name Ghana and so on, even when they were a motion of destiny, when they were voting, they were not there.
They boycotted.
They boycotted. So how can you say you brought the name?
Okay.
Don't let us be risking the past, because if you are not careful,